we are married, man.
Hmm.
You've been married for ancients,
Almost 8 years now.
almost 8 years.
Yeah.
With me it's 5 years.
October is my eighth
Oh,
year.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. But
So we have a little experience.
yeah.
If you have 5+ years in work experience,
Hmm.
they will look at you like you know something. You don't know one or two things.
Yeah.
So we're not experts of marriage. We're just gonna talk about our experience in marriage. So,
Okay.
so my first question is, what is something you wished that you knew,
Hmm.
either knew or something you wish you done before you got married or before you got yourself into marriage?
Mm. 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 Uh, something I wish I knew and something
Or something you wish you done before you got married.
mm, something I wish I knew. So let me ask it this way.
Okay.
With those two questions you ask,
You can answer either one.
if I knew this is what I was going to get myself into it, would I be able to continue with my marriage or would I?
No, so you got into it and you were surprised. You're like, oh, if I knew it was like this, I would have
Mhm.
done this before I got into it.
I would say maybe just the financial part of that,
Me too.
the financial part of marriage. I
Yeah.
wish there was a specific book that tell you don't do this, don't spend money on this, don't
Yeah.
invite all these people, cut, do a small, do whatever, save money and live
Yeah.
better type of deal. I
Uh-huh.
wish that was something I knew. I think maybe because what got us as young, we were more into like the popularity or the
Yeah.
publicity, like
And I bet somebody was like, hey, you can just do
you,
something
you can
small.
do something
You're like,
small.
forget
Because
about you know what I mean?
if I tell you, let's say like if after a marriage you make money, if that was the case, we will be balling.
Yeah, so and you know what's funny too is like when you're telling people that are about to get into it, when you're telling them like, yo, don't really focus on on the wedding,
Hmm.
they look at you like you did it, so
Yeah.
but it's like
Because if I look at the number of people that came into my wedding and the gift I got, the money I got, I was so miserable.
okay, so this is the two things I'll never forget. Uh, when we're opening the
Gift, the
envelopes,
envelope.
there's an envelope that was empty,
Yes.
and there was an envelope that had $1 in there.
Just even $1. Mind to put 1,000 franc Congolese money into that. If you go to bank to change that, you know how much that is?
$1.
1 cent. You might imagine.
But and that's like I mean those things happens after.
Just imagine, bro. Why would we even do that? Like,
So they took a Congolese franc,
fraud, which is Congolese money
like it's valid, it's legit.
in
But
Congo, but
the lo-
I'm here
but
in Colorado.
The location
That's-
is just a
it's-
different
it's-
location.
bro.
1 cent.
So you tell me that money flew all the way from Congo to come.
Why do you think the person did that? Because I know. Do you maybe think like they have so many notes and they're like
Nah, bro.
this feels like 100
No, I think it was just a way of showing up to say that I came and
like on the video or photos,
and
like I was giving a
photos, I was
gift.
giving a gift. I think that's it.
That's some cold blooded, man.
And because even there was a lot of people at my wedding I never invited, I didn't knew some of them. Until this day, some of them like, oh, you Spanish, I was at your wedding.
Yeah,
Did I invite you?
when you go and look back at the photos, you're like, I do not know this
don't
person.
I don't know that person.
Yeah.
Who invited?
Yeah,
Like, so those are the things like if today you say you have to do over,
yeah.
bro, maybe the list can be uh 50 people max.
But today the weddings are crazy.
Max. I won't even rent a venue.
Now you have to
I'll
go
go
on
to a-
YouTube. People are renting dancers now.
I, I won't do none of that. I won't do. And I won't do none of that, bro. Probably I will go up to the.
But the women feel different though.
It doesn't matter.
Like it's so messed up that you accept that fact after it happens.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody were to tell you like, "Yo, I don't think it's worth it," and I feel like also like we men we have a different perspective because we're spending the majority of the money.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the same thing as financially. So imagine in 1 year, you're in school
Mm-hmm.
and you're in school. That means you don't have a job.
Yeah.
Even if you have a job, it's not a job.
A job. It's something to keep you surviving.
Yeah,
Have
for
some
you
economy.
to buy gas. So imagine you are graduating in May. You're graduating. This is 1 year.
Yeah.
You are graduating in May. So and then God helps you find a job 2 months before you graduate.
Mm-hmm.
2 months before you graduate, but in June you have to go and pay the bride price, and then September you have to do a wedding. So it's like as soon as you start spending your check before you even get it.
Yeah.
So there was no time for me to be like, you know what, let me save, let me do this. None of that. It's like I started working, bride price, wedding.
I think in that I can look at it this way, because my thing was like, why wait? Why continue to mess around and all this thing? I can just find somebody and start a life with that person, and we start from zero, and we build an empire.
No, I agree, but then it's like the aftermath get you thinking like, man, why did I, because you start looking at the wedding like, man, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
So like I don't have an issue like with getting married the time I got married, but I wish I was
You knew a lot of things that
financially
before you spend on all those things.
Yes.
Because for me there was a lot of things where you could act like, if I have to redo, I would bunches of stuff. It would never exist. I would cut things off.
but then the women at the end of the day it wasn't
No,
for us.
as for right now, we
Yeah.
redo it, bro.
I mean, now I feel like there's that possibility of not struggle after, like, we did, or
Yeah.
at least for me, I feel like the possibility now is more compared to when I got married.
True. And also I think the financial part, and also what are some of the challenges beside the financial part?
The challenges is the person you getting married to. And this is where
Okay.
I don't know, I don't want to use, like, I don't want to make it seem like we're misusing the word trauma, but like you go in, okay, like for instance, like even with you, your wife is come from the same country, but still you guys grew up in the same in a different household.
Different countries.
Born in the same country. No,
Different countries.
no, even if it was the same country,
Okay.
even if it was the same country, the same culture, you guys came from a different household.
Yes.
Grew up with different parents, different lifestyle,
Different-
everything different.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's two different countries.
But at least we get along.
No, of course. But then of course you have to get along. But then it's
No, of course. At least we get along.
yes.
Okay. Oh, now you're laughing.
No, I'm saying, so imagine a different country.
Okay.
that means different everything.
Yes.
Culture, language, you know,
Everything is different.
everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
And also for me, you know, she's a lady.
Mm.
I'm a guy.
Yeah.
My mother babied me,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's like, oh, your sister would do this, you know. Oh, like, you know, she will, you know, tell my sister like, oh, make him some food. Or she will call me like, oh, are you eating? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to go to the kitchen unless I wanted to. Like, you know, to wash dishes, to make food.
Yeah.
In my house, I didn't have to do that unless I wanted to. Like, I did not have to do that.
So what are you trying to say?
So you go into marriage with that kind of mindset, like, you know, the man of the house.
Yeah. I can see, but it does take time for both of you guys to adjust.
So my thing is
Because, okay, go ahead, finish that.
my thing is you have to want to,
Yes.
because the mistake we can make is go in as, you know, for example, I grew up in a certain way, to take that like that, you know, as absolute.
Yeah.
This is the only way to live.
Yes.
And then you start bumping heads with your spouse, like, no, I live like this.
Yeah.
Like, you have to want to be like, oh, there are other things. You have to be open to
Open
things,
mind
you know.
to a change. Because even no, that's the thing you talk about. Those are the serious things that usually you hear within the first year or 2 years. A lot of couple couldn't stand each other.
And some people don't make out of it.
Exactly, because of those things.
So it's like one of you guys, because it takes one person. I always say this. It takes one person to be willing to be like, okay, let me see.
Let me calm down.
Let me see.
Yeah.
But usually men, we
stubborn. We want to be this alpha. You know, but I'm not saying that don't be an alpha. All I'm saying is that in those first 2 or 3 to 5 years is the most crucial time of marriage. If you watch a lot of people of our ages or our generation, half of them who got married did not marry. Some separated, some came back, and all these things.
Or some, the fire is still there.
The fire is still down to this day. And it's usually like, I have to adjust big time. Me personally, coming from where I came from, knowing everything, like, and all these things. Like, okay, now, and I think the fact that I also went away and live on my own for some time, then came back, then got married, helped me.
So for me, I didn't have that. Like, literally, I got out of my parents' house
Straight to
today. Tomorrow, I went into
into marriage.
So it's like, oh man.
So you have no little friends.
So you know, so it's like, man. And then you realize you don't know anything. Now, like, personally, I understand the scripture that says, live wisely with your wife, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need, like, I understand now what that verse means.
Yeah. It means a lot. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of youth are not understanding that. And that is very crucial to the survival of the relationship, of the marriage.
Yes.
You know, because for me, it was like, still, I'm not saying that we have overpassed that.
No. It's like a long time.
Yeah. But now it's more better. It's much easier. I can look at it. I moved on my way. You see?
But before, it's like, I will show you.
Oh, I will show you. Who are you talking to me? Oh, you try to challenge me, but now these days it's like, come on, move on to something else.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
and also,
I will deal with this later. I can easily walk away from the situation without even saying anything. Like,
my dad is the one that told me this. He was like, if you want to stay with one woman, when she goes high,
just
don't go high with her.
Yeah.
Just stay down. But if you wanna get married to different women, she goes high, you go high. You see how that goes.
It doesn't end well. I'm telling you. It's
Yeah.
always too much papato and all this thing.
I mean, they say they have more words than us.
They do. The moment you're trying to say, the person is in need of L, M, B. Like, the moment you try to be B, she already finished the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
She's coming back again. And so that's why, and a lot of men, and, with that as well, I can tie that back to what I said previously with the foundation of education that started at home.
Mm.
If you have a stable household with your parent and they prepare you with a better foundation and a better education, you will be able to navigate these marriage difficulties without any problem, without bumping head. Because a lot of the things that you hear some couples are bumping their heads into it are so simple. Like small stuff, which is like, are you guys fighting over this because of that? No. Everything is a communication. And today's generation, we don't know that. A lot of people, we don't know how to communicate.
I want to understand communication.
Okay.
Like, because I feel like even there has to be what is the foundation, what is carrying that communication. For instance, if me and you have a good relationship, foundation, like a friendship, good relationship, the way I'm going to communicate with you is going to be different if me and you just fight all the time.
Yeah.
Like even slamming the door is communicating,
Living things where you should
like yelling at somebody is communicating, but then it's like, what kind of communication are we talking about? Because sometimes like, and that's another mistake we make. Like we have to know that we are the same, meaning like she's not your child, you're not her child.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna talk like adults. But then as a man, I think you have to lay that foundation. Like she might go like this, but as a man, you have to have the mental stability
and maturity.
Like you have to be mentally stable.
No, to be able,
so
to be
like
able to
she's
handle
going.
a woman, you have to be
mentally stable.
Yeah.
And like, how do you lead with? You have to lead with love, and then she's gonna start thinking to herself like, I'm the only one acting crazy. He's more calm,
Exactly.
But then if you're a man and you guys are going like
back
this, like who's the woman? Who's the husband?
Exactly.
So that's what I get confused with when it comes to communication. Like, what kind of communication?
Well, I would say just love relationship is different than professional lifestyle and all this thing. That's different. Love is this is somebody I'm spending my days, my night. I see you wake up ugly like all of that.
Yeah.
It play into that communication. Even just the way you look at your wife, it's a way of communication.
Yeah.
Even the way you do things, the way you walk, the way you move things around, all these things can communicate something. Without you being angry, you can communicate that this person is not in the mood.
Yeah.
You can. So all those things contribute to that when we talk about communication. Like because and a lot of youth of our generation who are getting married today, a lot of them, the mistake I can say is contributing to substance that they're putting into their bodies. Because for me, for example, I don't drink. I know my limit. I don't drink to go out street cause trouble or lose my pants and I start. None of that.
You say lose my pants.
Some of people know that, but I drink just I know my limit. 1 or 2, I'm done.
Yeah,
that's it. I won't go over it. Nah, that's my limit.
But there's some
people when they drink over the limit and they can no longer control themselves, and now they are going to start a fight. They are going to try to get into a situation where you cannot control, and that's why things always go wrong.
Right. And what about those that do not drink, but they just are stable?
And with all that, I have to say, probably, I have to tie that back to what I said, foundation, the education they receive from home.
Mm.
If you come from a broken household, you always see that, you tend to make that as a normal way of reality because that's what you grew up around. That's what you were raised up into that. You think it's okay to yell, to fight all the time. You think it's okay to, to create trouble because that's how you were raised into that environment.
And also sometimes I feel like a person might not realize.
Yeah.
Like a person might not realize until you point it out for them. Like it's just a reactionary because that's the life you're used to.
Yeah. So all those things, that's why it's important for us in our generation to find a way to heal all those trauma before we decide to take on to this next adventure called life, marriage, and children's and all these things. Because your children are the reflection of who you are. And we don't want that to be that of that. So, that's why it's important that we are educating ourselves, continue to educating ourselves to be better, to do better, so that we don't continue with that cycle of trauma. Because it's a cycle and it has to be broken off at some point.
Yeah, and
and some of us came from families that are putting all those trauma in us.
I mean, I think go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Why is that, especially to the African community, why is that always when it's around marriage, wedding season, you see somebody that's the most stressed time for a man or for the girl? Why?
Go ahead. I feel like you're asking me, but you want to go ahead and respond to that.
You will see the person probably have the whole family against them. Oh, we don't want you to marry that person. Oh, we don't want you to be with that person. Oh, why you try to show off, you try to show us that you are the first one guy married. All these things. Why?
There are a lot of factors, to why people are stressed. Because I feel like, and this is very interesting. I feel like low key, you do things because you want to prove something. Like
did you get married because you wanted to prove something?
Like, to be honest, like, I'll be honest. There are things we do and don't want to.
I believe we do certain thing to piss the people that started that thing. Not because I did not get married to prove to people.
But sometimes.
But along the way, niggas start popping up and start putting their mouth where it shouldn't be. Then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to show you. You know what? I'm going to teach you a lesson. You know what? I'm going to say.
Which is the wrong motive to do a wedding. Because, okay.
No, it is not.
It is.
No, because when I started, I decided to say, hey, I'm not going to do all this nonsense stuff. Let me be a gentleman. Let me do the right thing. To me, that's the biggest step for a young person to take. And with a well-structured family, a family that's well educated, they should have said, oh my God, this is something we should encourage it. We should support it. Let's push this young person to go forward. And let's make sure that they succeed in this direction that they're taking.
Right.
That's supposed to be the support that I need. You know what?
And that's what family is supposed to do.
Exactly. But some of the family are evil as.
Are we talking about which side of your family? Because when we're talking about family, is either your wife family or your family.
Oh, I wasn't referring to anybody. I was just talking in general.
No, I'm saying the support comes from like the family are supposed to.
Oh, I'm
Support
talking to
you.
both families.
Yeah.
I'm talking to both families, both sides. Whether it's the man, sometimes the man's family will support it or they're against it. Sometimes the woman's family will support it or against it.
Yeah. So I was about to say this.
Okay.
I think there's a like a formula that God installed in us, where like we're creatures of service. So like we're here to serve each other. So we're here to do things for each other.
But that's not always the case.
No, like so for instance, like we're doing this podcast not because we enjoy it, but because we know, like, there's some people are going to receive it. So
Some people are going to say we took a shot at them.
no, at the end of the day, we are doing things to serve each other. Like
Yeah.
it's service. You're going to work because you're serving somebody, and then you're gonna make that money, and you buy some nice clothes. You give it to somebody. That person that made that clothes, he made it for you, so you can buy it from them. The person that made the house you live in, like we are here for a service. But sometimes we can't. Like that can sneak in where you do it as a revenge or a motive to, like, I will show them. Like some people will, wait, like I'll make sure I rent this place so people can see, or like I'll make sure I get this kind of suit so people can see, So I feel like if it wasn't for people, I don't think we would do weddings. We can lie to ourselves and be like, I did it for myself, but really, deep down,
Uncle T, no, I kind of disagree with that though.
okay,
I disagree because, like, the thing is, the people that have done wedding because they want to prove to people they have not lasted.
but no, I'm
They have-
saying weddings and marriage are two different things. Like,
Okay.
when you getting married because you want to be with the person, is different to say I want the wedding. Why didn't you just move straight into the house
I think
and then go get blessing in the
wedding
court
is
and the
the
church
way.
and
Wedding is a way to say, "F you, I did it."
but that's the motive I'm telling you. And
Because
sometimes
you
that
started
motive,
it, I finish it. That's
but and
No.
sometimes no,
The-
that's a bad motive.
no.
Whenever
Uncle
we
T,
do anything to show
Uncle T.
people,
it's not like we go. It's like I did not had a wedding to prove to people. Until people start putting their mouth where they should have put their mouth into my business. That's why I was like,
why are you getting personal?
that's why
I'm talking about in general.
that's in general.
I'm saying
No,
as human.
That's in general.
As human.
Yes, I'm talking general. I'm talking as in general. That's when niggas started putting their mouth where they shouldn't in the first place. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to make sure that I did it in your face.
No,
But
I get what you're saying.
if you did not put your mouth, I would have not done that. I would just continue
but
my
now I feel
life.
like you're getting personal. I'm talking general, but you're getting personal.
I am talking
I feel
general.
like you have a specific
I am
target.
talking general.
Okay.
It is generalized.
Okay.
I haven't called anybody. All I'm saying is that this mentality with our African household need to stop.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the challenges and the things we wish we did. We talked about financially. This guy's about to go somewhere else. We talked financially, and then we started talking about challenges. So challenges, there are a lot of luggage that we bring in, and then we have. If you're willing, you start taking them off. Like, oh, I know this is what I'm used to, but like this is a different environment. And also, you start, you start being considerate towards your spouse. That's what we're talking about. Let's move away from the wedding.
You know what, Okochi?
Eh.
You know what? I feel like we should end this one right here and open it up to have two ladies sit right across us and
No,
have
we
this
will.
debate.
So before
Oh,
we
and
do that,
two married young ladies to sit
yeah,
right here.
before we do
Should
that,
we do that?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Anybody that's willing to come, it would be nice. So before we do that, I have another question.
Okay.
Another question is, if
Mm.
or when
Mm.
your spouse and her family are fighting,
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
if
Yes.
your spouse and her family
I'm
or his
fighting.
family, this is a general question to anybody listening. If you
Okay.
are a female, if your husband and his family are fighting, or if your wife and her family are fighting, do you interfere or you grab popcorn and just watch?
At what point are we talking about?
No,
Before
so,
I get into the marriage or after we are married and all
no,
that?
during the marriage.
So in the process.
No. Like you are married right now.
Yeah. If now.
Yeah. So now Charlene is decided to fight with her family. Do you interfere or you just grab some popcorn and see how it plays out?